on that. Joining us now is Mr. R.C. Bhargav, the chairman of Maruti. Mr. Bhargav, always a pleasure. Many thanks for joining us here on CNBC TV 18. Mr. Bhargav, you're a veteran of many elections, many election verdicts, many governments, coalition and majority governments as well. It hasn't gone as per plan. It certainly hasn't gone as per what the exit polls were suggesting. What do you make of the verdict so far?
Well, certainly it has not gone as was predicted in the opinion polls and the kind of media information which was being circulated before the election. But the fact remains that the same government which was in power in the last 10 years is going to be in power in the next 5 years. Now, there is a difference, of course, because the majority is much reduced. The BJP on its own does not have a majority, so there are some changes. But I'm sure that all the leaders which we have are very seasoned politicians, and they will find a way of making this work. As an industry man, Shireen, I think mine and I think most industrialists' concern is that the very positive policies which were in place for promoting competitive manufacturing, for the growth of industry, for doing business in a far more easier manner, that they should continue unchanged. The climate for industrial growth, manufacturing growth should continue, and there should not be any unexpected or negative impacts on policies because of this.
No, absolutely. I think that is the fear as far as industry and the stock markets goes. But Mr. Bhargav, if you take a look at the manifestos of the India Alliance, and at this point in time, there's no reason to believe that it won't be a BJP-led NDA that will form the government. And even if it were to be the NDA and not the BJP as a single majority party, I mean, you have the likes of Chandrababu Naidu who are going to be part of the government. He's one of the most progressive chief ministers. He's somebody who has courted investors in Davos well before, Prime Minister Modi discovered Davos, etc. So, from that perspective, is this overblown, the fear that perhaps there could be a change in track as far as economic policy is concerned?
I don't think that whether it's a state government by a different party or the BJP state government or any regional party, that any state government will deliberately adopt policies which will slow down the growth of industry and therefore the creation of jobs and create more problems for themselves by doing that. I think that would be like shooting yourself in the foot, because over these years, I think everybody has recognized that the main problems in India are creation of adequate employment for the youth. And for that, you have to have industrial growth, you have to have manufacturing growth, you have to have the demand for products rising, and you have to create the infrastructure for that to happen. And I don't think that any party, any government will actually, if it comes to the crunch, want to do something which is contrary to what I'm saying.
No, I agree with you, Mr. Bhargav. And, Maruti has a presence across different states, from Haryana, from Manesar to, of course, the state of Gujarat. And, you have a large supply base, and your supply base operates from all parts of the country, from the south to, of course, the north. So my point is that if you look at not just the central government, if you look at states as well, chief ministers now realize you have to deliver on growth, you have to deliver on investment, you have to deliver on jobs. There is, in fact, a competition underway to try and draw in both domestic and foreign investors. So, this expectation that there is going to be some dramatic change and we're going to move much more into welfareism and, fiscal prudence is going to be a thing of the past and so on and so forth. Again, in your experience, do you believe that that is a legitimate concern, or do you believe it's being overdone?
Some states may adopt different policies because some parties have come to power on certain promises which were made to the elections. But I think what you said, Shireen, I completely agree with you that what we've seen in the last several years now is the tremendous interest which state governments have in attracting investments and manufacturing companies into their states. All of them, I mean, when we were looking at our expansion, we've had so many states, and they were not BJP states, who were coming to us and offering all kinds of incentives and support for Maruti to come to this state. So I think what you're saying is absolutely correct. I think all states, irrespective of their political rulers, recognize the importance of industrial activity in creating employment and wealth as a result thereof.
Right. Mr. Bhargav, just hang in there, sir. We are just going to go across to my colleague Abhimanyu. He's been standing by at the BJP and so forth. Mr. Bhargav, coming back to you now, what would the expectation really be at this point in time if, in fact, it is coalition government with the BJP not being in majority? What do you think the likely policies could be? Do you believe that for instance, they do have that dividend that's coming from the Reserve Bank of 1 lakh crore rupees as a buffer? Do you see the announcement, for instance, of more social schemes in the budget come July?
I think the BJP, as the largest party, will obviously be called upon to form the government. That's the tradition which has always been there. And I expect that the political management side of BJP will be strong enough to ensure that they make a very viable coalition with parties which are very much aligned to their way of thinking about where India should go and how India should go. So I'm not particularly worried that we will suddenly have a very big difference in the kind of government which we are going to have. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yes, Mr. Bhargav, it's been an absolute pleasure. Many thanks for joining us today as we decode the electoral results. We are still, of course, waiting for the final results, but as we decode the direction that these elections have taken and the implications for India and for its economy. Many thanks for joining us. Let me go across to my colleague, Timsy Joy.